All right. Well, I think I will start. A lot of people have different ways to do a CMA, comparative market analysis, for a listing, or if you're representing a buyer and you want to see, what other sales are going for, writing an offer on. And so there's tons of different ways to do this. So what I'm going to show you is how I was taught to do it, and I've messed around with it over the years, and I this is my favorite way to do a CMA, and how I found it to be the most helpful way to send a CMA to a seller or a buyer. But obviously, I just kind of want to preface by saying people have totally different ways of doing it. Now Realist actually has a way of doing CMAs. I tried that the other day and I didn't like it very much. But there's I know one agent in our office who that's the only way she does it is on Realist. So again, there's tons of different ways to do this, but I just want to show you guys how I do it. So I will share my screen. Okay, can you guys all see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. Hey, Robin, if somebody is waiting in the queue, are you able to accept them to come in? If not, I'll just keep checking in to see if somebody, the way Zoom is right now, you need to accept people to come in. So I'm not sure if that's something you can do, Robin. No worries. I'll just watch. So, okay. So I am just on Matrix here, and let's pick a property to do a CMA on. I should have planned a property. Okay, I'm gonna do my in-laws home because I used to live in it before my in-laws moved there. All right, so I'm going to Realist to search the address so I can get the specific details of the property.
That was about kids, not you, Isaac.
What was that?
Oh, I didn't know if you heard me. I was just saying it was about kids, not about you.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I see you got the bed and bath count and the building square footage. This is actually a good example of why, when you are first talking to a seller about their home, don't just get the address. You should ask them details about their home. So what I do if a seller calls me, or someone who's thinking about selling their home, or somebody who just wants value on their home, is I say, okay, I'm going to look it up on county record. Is there anything about the home that may not be on county record, or do you just want to tell me some details about it so I can make sure I'm comparing it to homes that really match your current home. So like in this case, I know for a fact the home is 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, or 2.25. So anyways, that's a good reminder that when you're first talking to a seller, get some information, at least bedroom, bathroom count, and if they, ask if since they bought the home, have they finished a basement or something? So is the square footage similar, etc. But this is a perfect example. As you guys can see, it says 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, and the value for this home would be dramatically off because I wouldn't be giving them credit for the full 2.5 baths. So I'm going to go search single family quick. So I like to, there's a couple things to look at when you're comparing the value on a home. Obviously, an appraiser is only going to look at sold properties. That's a fact. Appraisers are not going to consider homes on the market, and they're not going to compare homes that are pending. At the time that that they appraise the home, they can only use sold homes. With that said, if we're comparing a home that they're not planning on listing for a month or two, it might be worth throwing in pending inspection active, just to kind of see what's on the market currently and kind of see, it'll just kind of give us an idea. And then I like to go 365 days back on sold. If there's too many options, then I go down on things like that. So we're going to look at 3 bedroom homes. And this is just my opinion. A lot of what I'm going to talk about today is subjective, not objective. So again, what I'm saying isn't necessarily right. So 2.5 bathrooms, people like the extra half bath, but does it dramatically increase the value of a home versus a 2-bathroom home? I don't think so. I think it's maybe a slight increase. So I can be more exact if I have a ton of comps when I first do this listing. But when I start, I want to go a little more broad and then boil it down if I have to. So I'm going to search 1.75 to 2.5 bathrooms, see what kind of range we get. And then square footage, again, this is not an exact science. My opinion, you want to be within 250 square feet. So this is 1,600, so I'm going to go 1,350 to 1,850. And we'll see how that goes. The other thing that I think a lot of people don't do is they don't look at the year built. A new construction home just really doesn't compare to a home that was built in 1925. Again, if we are really struggling finding comps, sure, then we can take it with a grain of salt and expand this. But Craig would say in this case, don't look at anything newer than 1980. I normally go about 1990 and below for a home that is this old. I mean, it's literally almost 100 years old. Last but not least, I'm going to click residential. So we're not looking at condos. This is another thing I think a lot of people overlook. They just compare any structure home, and as I think everyone on this call knows, a single story 1,600 square foot home is absolutely more valuable than a one story with a basement, or even a 2-story with a basement, because basement square footage is not as attractive. And even a 2-story home with no basement and a 1-story home with no basement, people prefer 1-story homes. I'm sure you've all worked with buyers or spoken with buyers who are like, only a 1-story home. So anyways, I like to be as exact as possible and go 2-story. I would say knowing this home, 2-story versus a tri-level isn't going to affect the value too much. Split entry is those ones where you step in, you can go downstairs or upstairs, and from appraisers I've spoken with, and in my experience, split entries are definitely valued less than 2-story homes or 1-story with a basement. They're just, for some reason, less attractive. So I'm going to skip that. And then I'm going to go 2-story with a basement. And I'll include 1.5 story with a basement and 1.5 stories. Again, we can be more specific, more broad as we go, but that's what I'm going to start out as. So then I'm going to click on the map. Oh, actually, let me step back to criteria. I was just showing this to Prince the other day, and I know some people don't know about this. These are additional fields that I've added. And if you need to add a field, you just click here, add field, or add remove, and then you can click whatever you want. There's a ton to choose from, so it's kind of a pain to find what you're looking for. But if you want to be able to search by homes that have a view versus and remove homes that don't have a view or things like that, you can find that that tab and then add it. And then it will, well, that's saying that I've already done that, but then it will add it over here. And then when you go back, the tab will be down here somewhere. No, I don't see it. There it is, down here. So anyways, that's just something a little quick tip if you don't know about that. You'll notice I'm not doing price yet, because right now I want to see everything in that price range. But another thing that I'm asking the seller when I'm talking to them, asking about bed and bath count and square footage count, I'm asking them what kind of condition is it in. And of course, every seller thinks their home is in better condition than it really is, right? But just get an idea. So in this case, the seller would say, well, we just remodeled the kitchen and we remodeled 2 of the bathrooms, and there's all new paint and new flooring, which is the case for this home. So I'm like, okay, it's not quite a flip, but it's pretty darn close. And they just did a new roof and the exterior. So this is a nice home. So I'm keeping that in mind. So when I'm about to look at comps, I'm going to keep that in mind. So you can just search 1315 North 5th Street up here, and it will drag you right there. And we're going to see how far we have to go out. Now, I know 98403 is this pocket right here. It's division to I to seal to 6. I know that because I live in this pocket too. And the historic district is kind of unique to the historic district. But guess what? I'm looking at comps, and I can't compare with other homes in the historic district because quite literally there are no other comps. So this is where it gets tough. You kind of have to know the area. I know division is a dividing line, and this is south. This is south. I'm absolutely not going to use those addresses. North, the north end has higher values, higher property taxes, better schools, etc. I also know, because I run down this street, this is commercial area, and so even though these are north, I'm not going to include anything around here. But these homes, again, I'd like to be in the historic district, but these homes all are comparable. They're all within, you know, a mile, and they're in that same comparable area. So normally you just kind of draw a line around where you want to go. And this is, like I said, a little arbitrary because I see the comps that are available. That wasn't, you know, 100% specific, but I know below North I Street, property values go way up. It's closer to the water. You're in a different school, a slightly different school district for elementary schools, and values just go up. But I know that this area called the Berkeley district is really similar to the historic district. I'm talking really fast, and you guys don't have to know all this. This is quite literally my backyard, so I'm really familiar with this area. If you're not familiar with an area, feel free to call Craig or I, or you know, do some research, do some Google drive-bys to see, to kind of scope it out and see what neighborhoods really compare with each other. Okay, so that gave me 6 comps right off the bat. So that's a good reason why, that's a good reminder of why you should go vague at first and then boil down. Because if I'd been more specific with my comps at first, I may have only had like 2 comps, and you want at least 3. So now I'm going to go to results, and let's check them out. So again, I have an advantage here because I actually know what the home looks like. I know the interior condition. So right now what I'm doing is I'm looking at condition. I'm going to kind of zoom through this, but this is a good comp. Fresh paint, good floor, kitchen's not like a flip, but it's in really good condition. This is a really great comp. I'm going to select that one and move on. Going to try and move fast really quick, but again, I'm just looking at condition, good condition, selecting that one. These are actually surprisingly really good comps, knowing the home myself. Normally you're going to pick a few, and I'm hoping to find one that really doesn't compare, but you're going to pick a few that really don't meet the same standard. And again, this one is just a really, really good comp. So this is working out well. So far I'm 4 for 4 of the ones I've looked at. This one's kind of like a flip, all brand new white cabinets, brand new flooring. So it might be on the higher end, but also a comp. And number 6. There we go. This one also is really similar. So that again, I'm not being super specific, but you guys, I think you can kind of see how I'm thinking. I know the sellers have given me an idea of what the condition's like. It's updated. It's not an actual flip, but it's updated. It's in really good condition. And then I know because of the criteria I put in off the bat that all the listings in this box are similar type of structure, similar square footage, similar bed and bath count, if not the exact same. So actually all 6 comps worked, which is awesome. That's going to give me, that's going to give us a lot of really great data. So from here, there's a few different options. You can print it or you can email it. I like to email it because when you download it as a PDF, the pictures are really small and it's less user friendly if you email someone a PDF. If you email it, I'll show you what this looks like. So we'll type in the client's email here. Nope, that's actually not what I wanted to do. Okay, so actually what this was doing is this was going to send them all 6 listings. You can do it like that. If you've done that before, that will just send them the actual listings and they can really click on them. But that's, sorry, I got lost for a second. That's not exactly where I want to go right here. Okay, I stand corrected. I'm sorry. So what I want to do is I want to click print, and now I'm remembering what I was doing wrong. So the tabs that I do, and I'll show you why in just a second, is I do the multi-map. I go CMA, one line landscape, and I can write this up and put it in the follow-up email. And then I go photo gallery and the 3-up comparison. So I'll show you what those tabs look like. And again, you can find what works best for you. These are the ones that I have found give me the most, well, give me enough data to make a decision on value and show the data to my clients without overwhelming them with too much data. Some of those tabs can be really extensive and overkill and can, you know, stress out a client. So it's nice because the first page is nice because it shows the map. They can get their orientation. Know, okay, I live right here. Perfect. These comps are really nearby. It shows them the basics of the home, the bed and bath count, the square footage, and what they sold for. And this is one of my favorite tabs right here. So this tab has the listing number, the address, bed and bath count. They're all threes. That's perfect. They're all between 1.75 and 2.5. And square footage, lot square footage, year built. They're all really in that same year built range. This is the sale date. Nope. Yes, that's the sale date. If it was an active listing or pending listing, it would be the date it went pending or date it went active. The price per square foot, the days on market, the original price, the list price when it was sold, the sold price percentage to original list price, and the sold price percentage to the list price when it sold. So this gives us a ton of really great data. Right off the bat, it tells me the average days on market are 9 days. That's a great expectation setter where you can say similar homes in your area are taking about 9 days to sell. Great. The original price versus the list price when it sold. Look at that. That's actually kind of interesting. None of them had to do a price drop. And the sold price average was 466, 425, 101.5% above the list price. So does this tell you everything? No, absolutely not. We can really break down the comps and go one by one and see, you know, really compare and contrast. We can, maybe I'll go there and I'll realize that their basement actually wasn't included in the square footage. Oh, someone has company. But anyways,
sorry.
No, you're totally fine. Totally fine. Anyways, this is a good place to start, right? We see the lowest listing that sold that was similar was 427. The highest was 499. You can see this is real. If you just did this 5-minute search before you went on a listing appointment, like you had somebody who called you and said, hey, I want to meet this afternoon. You see that just took 5 minutes, and now I can print this out, and I've got a lot of really great data. Right now I can say pretty confidently, it's probably not worth any more than 500 unless there's something that they weren't telling me. That's, you know, I'd feel pretty confident saying that. And it's probably not worth any less than 427, 600 unless, again, it's in way worse condition than they were saying. So even though that's a pretty big range, it does give us a pretty good idea. And then the reason I like to have the 3-up comparison is this report gives you all the important details of the listing but not on, you don't have to have 6 different pages. It just puts it on 2 pages. It's called the 3-up comparison data field. And then it has all the pictures, but like I said, they're all squares like that. So when I go on a listing appointment, I will do this CMA ahead of time. And I won't give them, if it's me, I'm not going to give them a value before I get there, because again, sellers, they're not necessarily dishonest, but every seller thinks they live in a palace when they likely, you know, just live in a nice home. And every seller thinks their home is worth more money, and they probably saw their neighbor's home sell for 600,000. They think their home's worth 600,000, but in reality, their neighbor home doesn't even compare because it's 2,000 more square feet. You know what I mean? So the point of this is to give you an idea going in as to what you expect, what you expect their home will list at, and then you can refine that when you actually go to the home, and you can really see if what they were saying was true and if they're underselling it or overselling it. But that's really it, guys. That's pretty quick, which is a good reminder that it doesn't have to be a huge, doing a CMA doesn't have to be a 2-hour long project. This is an easier area because I'm comparing a home that, that is really comparable to other homes in the North End. And so it was pretty simple. Obviously, it gets a little more difficult if there was a brand new construction home in the North End.
So these roofs,
Oh, Craig, you're not on mute.
put in a light corrugated,
You're mute, Craig.
all that stuff, fiberglass, plastic.
On the carports.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're now.
Okay, Craig is muted. Anyways, that shows you how you can really do a quick CMA really fast, and it doesn't have to take hours. It can be a lot longer if you're doing a property that doesn't really fit the neighborhood. But that's how I do a CMA. Again, I like to then, when I'm done with it, oh, I'm not sharing my screen anymore. I just realized. I like to, when I'm done with it, send them the links via email so that they can click around and see everything from their computer. That's nice to be able to do. But then that PDF that I was showing you earlier, that is what I'm going to print out and I'm going to leave with them. And how I'm going to conclude is I'm going to say, what I tell sellers when I go to meet them the first time, I say pricing is not, it's not a riddle. It's not something I'm pulling out of a hat. We're looking at data and statistics, and collectively we're going to come to an agreement on the price. We may be off a little bit. You know, you might think it's worth this, and I might think it's worth this, but we're probably gonna be pretty close because guess what? We're all looking at the exact same comps. So anyways, that is the, that's the gist of that. Robin, you just sent me a chat. Do you wanna, I'm pretty rusty on doing CMAs. Could I do a practice listing and send them to you? Was that from you, Robin? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Robin. Okay, I'll let Robin voice in when she is ready. But Sarah, do you want to, from here, getting away from CMAs, but kind of on the same line of listing appointments, Sarah is going to show the pre-listing packet that Sarah has designed, and Robin is just talking again. Can I send you, chatting again, I mean, can I send you an address, then could I send you a CMA for the property? Sorry, my mic isn't working for some reason. Yeah, absolutely. If you're saying you want to practice it and send it to me? So yeah, no problem. If anybody ever wants a second opinion before you go on a listing appointment, this is seriously one of my favorite parts of real estate. I love data and number crunching, and this is really fun for me. So don't ever hesitate to call me if you want a second opinion on it. I love doing this, and that's what I'm here for. All right, Sarah, I will turn it over to you if you want to share your screen and show the pre-listing packet that you worked on. Actually, just one last thing before Sarah starts talking. The pre-listing packet is something that Sarah has designed, and she can design for you. I actually don't know what the price is off the top of my head, but then when she designs it, you get a PDF and a few hard copies, and we can actually mail them for you if you ever want, or you can mail them yourself. But we have to charge for it because she designs it custom to you. But if you want to design your own, that's totally fine. So this is a already done product that we'll customize to you if you want it. But if you want to take ideas from this and make your own, you're welcome to. There's nothing necessarily super unique about ours, but we've over a few years have really fine-tuned it. And Sarah, when she joined half a year ago or so, has really added some cool dimensions to it. All right, Sarah, I'm done talking. It's all you.
All right. Thanks, Isaac.
Yeah.
Okay. Share my screen here. Okay. We're actually going to start. I was going to go over what your pre-listing package will include. So there's a $100 setup and design fee, and then I can create any custom page you want for an additional $25 per page. And this is what that gets you: customization, a PDF copy that you can then print whenever you want or email, however you like to do that. You get one printed proof that you review and then tell me what you would like changed, and we'll make those changes, and that's it, no additional charge. And then the first time you send it out, if you would like it mailed, we'll do that for free. Subsequent mailings are $25, and we'll put that in a folder. First, we print it out on high quality paper, we put it in a folder, put that in a manila envelope, and we send it off to your client so that when you arrive for your appointment, they've already had a chance to look at it. At least that's the idea. Things are a little wonky right now because, you know, everything is. All right, so let's go through this. This is TJ's listing packet. So this first page features reviews. There's his profile. These goofy kids. Communication guarantee. Some of our closing concierge we offer. This was actually, Modus came, we talked about them earlier too, but Modus came down and spoke with us, and they have a great flyer, and I got permission to co-brand with them. So if you have a specific staging company, a lender, any sort of outside resources that you want to work with, we can ask them permission to co-brand, or if you have something already existing that they've co-branded, that can be added to the PDF, no problem. Here is TJ's marketing page, which we're working on. So TJ, if you see this, sorry. And then this is just some info snapshot about Realty One Group. And then this is the photo listing or listing photo checklist. And you can actually request this outside of the PLP. If you'd like to have one of these made for you.
I finally got to join.
Okay, and now I'm going to go through a couple different versions of things. This one, Kyle Pease. So he's not a Redfin agent, so just at a similar look.
Hey, Sarah, can I say something about the page with you and Robin on it?
Sure.
So if you want to go back to that one. So this is all these are optional. If you're like, I don't really want that page, I want this page, or I want it to be different, like that's what Sarah's here for. She can design it custom to whatever you want. But I love this page, and I think it's really important, especially for, especially if you're a newer agent, because this makes you look big, for lack of a better word. That's a whole, there's probably a much better word for it, but it makes you look professional, legit, like you have your own employees. And even if you're not using Sarah as your transaction coordinator for a transaction or all your transactions, that's fine. Sarah is still on the back end with me reviewing files to make sure everything's good. So we really do have Sarah who's there reviewing your files. Robin, as you know, is always, whenever you post a listing or you have a pending sale, Robin's always marketing those on our page and sending you marketing material so you can post it on your page. And she's helping us with flyers. So, so this isn't at all dishonest or overstating it to say, this is my team. These are people who, you know, essentially work for you. They work on your team. And again, I'm kind of stumbling, but it just makes you look very professional, in my opinion. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for adding that, Isaac. Okay, so the marketing page here is what is really different about Kyle's. He wrote this all himself. Then we modified it to his specifications. Sorry, I have a bad habit now that I work by myself most of the time. I narrate what I'm doing. Okay, so here's another version of the listing photo checklist. And then I'm going to show you 2 more options for marketing. So this is what I'm working on for Rhonda. These are all listings that she has had in the past, and then we're going to beef up these cards.
And if you haven't done listings or a lot of listings and you need listing pictures, Craig is happy to share some of his old listing pictures. So we've got plenty of stock photos, if you will, that you can utilize.
Definitely. And then here's a version that just has it's more robust in the language and not as many pictures. It goes through all these steps. So any of these versions are available to you. Again, with that, just the $100 setup fee, you don't have to pay additionally for these pages. And that is everything I prepared.
That's awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Can you go back to the testimonial page? I want to say something on that one too.
Sure.
Also, if you are a newer broker and you don't have testimonials yet, you can get character testimonials. And I'm sure you know people who would be happy to do that. People you've worked with, or people you've helped, or family. All you need is 1 or 2 or 3 of someone saying something to the effect of, TJ is awesome. I've worked with TJ for years, and he is someone who has integrity and has been a huge help to me in my career. And you'd be lucky to use TJ as your real estate broker. I mean, that'd be so easy for someone to do, and I'm sure we all know people who would do that. So anyways, just a thought on that. If you don't have any testimonials, it's really easy to just think of a few people who you can ask to write a brief few sentence testimonial, if you will, just about you and who you are as a person. Because most of the times people don't pick you because of your real estate background. They pick you because of you, right? They don't pick you because of your brokerage. They don't pick you because of how many sales you had last year. They pick you because they know that you're going to go to bat for them and support them and service them. And so this is, I wouldn't skip over this page if you don't have any testimonials.
And even testimonials from other jobs that you've done.
Yeah. Yeah,
Those
absolutely.
work. If they say, you have integrity, you're a hard worker, those are all things people want in an agent anyway. And this, if you want more testimonials than just 4, we can do a second page, or I can redesign it another way. That's important to do.
Robin just said something that's a great idea. She said she'd be happy to write a testimonial for you. And I think that's an awesome idea. And it wouldn't have to say Robin, our marketing professional, or I could write a testimonial for you just saying, I've worked with Marty now for the past 6 months, or however long, Marty, you've been here, and just say, and I, whatever else you would like me to say, but I'd be happy to write. Robin or I would be happy to write just a little testimonial to fill that page. But the point of the pre-listing packet is, if you haven't been on a listing appointment, if you just go there and you say, here's what your home's worth and here's some comps, there's an awkward silence after that. It's like, okay, what else are we going to talk about? And it's not, you want to have, like Sarah alluded to earlier, I think the best practice is to mail the pre-listing packet ahead of time. Now they're impressed going into your meeting. They're like, wow, this is someone who's legit. They've got a marketing package, and they've answered probably 90% of their questions unrelated to their home. This pre-listing packet is not specific to a property. It's what you've used for your clients. And so whether or not you utilize Sarah's pre-listing packet, I really encourage you to time block some time to make your own. And just think about, if you were picking someone to list your home, which is a huge financial decision, what would you want to know about this person before you make this decision? And what would you want to know about the company they're with, and so on. So anyways, those are just my thoughts on why a pre-listing packet is so important. And like I said, again, it answers so many of the questions that they might have just right off the bat. So then when you go and you meet them, they feel really comfortable, and then you can really just talk about the home. With that said, I've also many times not had the time to mail it because I want to meet this afternoon, and I just bring it and I leave it with them, and I go through it with them a little bit. You know, I don't read through every testimonial, but you know, I just kind of float through it, and I talk about the important parts of it, and then I leave it with them. So when we're done with our meeting, they can review it. So that's, anyways, I just kind of wanted to point out the point of that.
I am also working on more pages to add to this, something that gives some vocabulary to help people understand different real estate terms, and a couple other items like that that will be included in the near future. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, and we haven't really talked about this, Sarah, but I'm sure you'll agree. If Sarah designs a page after you've already purchased a pre-listing packet, she'll include it in your future pre-listing packets if you want it. We won't charge you extra for that. As we improve it, your pre-listing packet will improve. So it doesn't matter if you bought one now or a year from now. We'll keep improving it as it goes. Do you agree with that, Sarah?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Robin brought up a good point in the chat box that this is another really important place to put a bio, and your bio is your first handshake. You know, if you're selling your brother's home, sure, a bio is probably not that important. The pre-listing packet probably isn't even that important. But most of the time when you're meeting someone who you know from some other area, your past work or your church or whatever, your bio is the handshake. It's saying, this is who I am. I know you from this, from this circumstance, but this is me. This is why I got into real estate. This is why I love real estate. There's tons of examples of bios that Robin.
Stop.
So that's about all we got on the pre-listing packet. Do you have anything else to add, Sarah?
Nope, that's about it. If you have ideas, feel free to talk to me about them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Craig is at an inspection, and he talked about maybe kind of talking about some stuff that comes up in an inspection. You guys would find that helpful. Let me see if I can get Craig's attention here. Craig, are you there? Oh, I have you muted because you didn't mute yourself earlier.
And the appraiser on a 203K is not going to come. Are you doing a 203K on this? Is that what the plan?
Yeah.
Okay, Craig's on the phone. We'll save that for another time unless you're ready in the next minute, Craig. Well, bear with us here. We'll only go another 10 minutes or so. Okay, he's ready now. If you have to go, no worries, but here is Craig. Are you there?
Yeah, just Eddie Anderson of Upwell Mortgage is on the phone. We're talking with Hannah Bentley out here at the home she's buying on a rehab loan. So you guys can just listen in. Eddie, if you could explain again that even though it's a rehab, it's automated, that the appraisers ordered out through the computer system.
Yeah.
And
we have to provide them with the bids of the work that's going to be done so that they can include that in the appraisal.
Okay. And they're trying to figure out, what work can they do themselves and what would make sense to put into their rehab loan. But it's really tough to tell because these appraisers are human beings. As we all know, we've seen people call out stuff on FHA on one and then not on another. So
they can't do any work themselves. The bids have to provide what work is going to be done when the appraiser takes those bids and they come out and inspect the house. If there's something that's not included in the bids and the appraiser calls it out, then we'll know then if there's some additional things that have to be done.
right. And that's the thing, is that we're looking at it now and just trying to take a guess, and we feel like the kitchen and bath could probably be, they could pass. And if that was the case, then after say the electrical and the roof and some carpeting and everything else done in the rehab, once they're done and closed and the final inspection is done on the rehab loan, then they can come in and do the kitchens and bath out of pocket later with their own money.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to decipher. So, okay. Thank you. Do you have any other questions, audience? Eddie, we're on a Zoom meeting, and and they're listening in, all the brokers with Isaac. Say hi, Isaac.
Hey, Eddie.
Yeah, Isaac.
All right.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Questions ready?
Nope.
All
That
right,
makes
Eddie.
sense.
Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, Isaac.
Cool. Well,
Any questions from the audience on this, even though we didn't get answers?
if we try and get into rehab loans right now, we're going to be here till 3 o'clock.
Yeah, just call us. And
Yeah,
we'll
they're
tell you-
complicated, but they
we'll
are.
tell you what we suspect, but we don't have the answer. Always,
Yeah.
it's up to the appraiser. But no, this home, honestly, you know, you look at it and it's got all the cabinet doors, right? It's just a mess. It's a short sale. Bottom line is that probably they're going to get by with doing the kitchen and bath themselves, and then they can put the other money into the electrical, the roofing, the HVAC, and different things like that that they would rather not do. And then after they close out on their loan, they do have money in the bank, and they can do those bath and the kitchens later. So that's probably wise, because that's where they can save the most money.
And the really cool thing about a rehab loan is if there are, first off, the problem with, let's talk about really quick, the problem with a rehab loan is it's less attractive to a seller because there's more hoops for everyone to jump through. Hannah, since I see you, thank you for letting us zoom in on your inspection. This is a good opportunity for everyone to see this. But now we get to see TJ's baby too. TJ. Anyways, so if you can get a FHA rehab loan accepted, it can be an awesome tool because it's only 3.5% down. It's 3.5% down of the purchase price and the rehab cost. So if you're buying a home for $250,000, $50,000 rehab, it's 3.5% down on $300,000, which is only just over $10,000, which is a pretty incredible deal. And then you have your as liquid as possible if you want to make future renovations as well. So anyways, that's why it can be really cool. Just they can be really complicated, as Hannah will tell you, and they can take a while too. So it's not something to just steer away from, but it's just something to tread lightly. And if you have questions, happy to help.
Yeah, and I'd say that in my experience, I've had one in my career that went through. I've had several people ask about them, but because of the complexity and people want to do the work themselves on much of it, it usually stifles the action to move forward. The other thing is that if you're trying to do a bank-owned home, they might advertise in the potential terms that they'll do a rehab, but you're probably going to get beat out by cash investors. In this situation, being that it was a short sale and it wasn't owned by the bank, that's very likely why Hannah was able to convince the real estate broker on the other side and the seller that, to go with her on the rehab loan, her being an owner occupant and the broker, and she's seen the property history, understands everything, can stomach it. She sold them ongoing with her and had to figure out where the other prices were, and she went up in her price. And so just different ways to go through things, but rehabs are definitely difficult to get the sellers to buy off on. And in this case, because it was a short sale, I think that's why she was successful.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Hannah and Steve and Craig. And thank you everybody for joining. And we'll see you guys next Tech Tuesday. That's kind of hard to say. And hope you guys all have a great weekend.
Right on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.